My son and my daughter-in-law dumped me at the airport like garbage with $50 and walked away laughing, but my revenge gave them a lifetime of nightmare. Before we continue, first let me thank you for watching this story. Please subscribe and tell us where you're watching from in the comments. We might give you a shout out in our next video. Today's special shout out goes to Mariah from New York. Thank you for being part of our family. Now let me tell everything. I'm Marcus Holloway, 74 years old, 3 Purple Hearts from Vietnam. What my son Derek and his wife Vanessa didn't know when they stole my house was simple. This broken old Marine had been 3 steps ahead of them for months. See, they thought forging my signature on property papers would be easy. Thought my PTSD made me too confused to fight back. Thought calling me crazy in front of neighbors would stick. They even filmed my episodes to build their case. But here's what happens when you mess with someone who survived 3 tours in hell. You find out the difference between broken and battle-tested. For 3 years, I let them think they were winning. Let them spend my money. Let them plan my future in a nursing home. All while I documented every lie, every stolen dollar, every cruel laugh. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't getting mad, it's getting even in front of 800 people on Memorial Day. This is how I turned their greed into their destruction. One recorded conversation at a time. Let me take you back to where this nightmare began. 3 years ago, after my wife Grace died from cancer, I moved in with Derek and Vanessa in Fayetteville, North Carolina. They convinced me it was temporary. Just until you get back on your feet, Dad. I should have known better. The house was mine. Bought and paid for in 1987 with my disability pension, worth $285,000 today. But I signed papers letting Derek handle the bills while I grieved. I trusted my only child. The humiliation started small. Derek would roll his eyes when I took my PTSD medication. Sertraline 100 mg, Prazosin 2 mg. Pops pill time again, he'd announce to Vanessa. They'd share those looks. You know the ones. When loud noises triggered my episodes, Derek got worse. Car doors slamming. His BMW alarm going off. Even the garbage truck on Tuesday mornings. I'd duck, hands trembling, transported back to those rice paddies in Vietnam. There goes the crazy old man again, Derek would say, acting out his war movies. Vanessa started filming me with her iPhone 15 Pro. For your own good, she claimed, in case we need to prove you're struggling. I apologized constantly for flinching, for asking him to lower the TV, for existing. I'm sorry, son. I know I'm difficult. You're not difficult, Dad. You're broken. Those words cut deeper than any shrapnel I'd taken in '69. They made me eat dinner after they finished, leftovers on paper plates while they used the good china Grace picked out. I sat in the kitchen like hired help, listening to them plan their future in my house. Once we get the deed transferred, we can refinance, Vanessa whispered. Maybe get that pool we wanted. I heard everything, but I stayed quiet. My VA appointments became ammunition. He can't even drive himself to the doctor, Derek told the neighbors. Memories going. PTSD is getting worse. None of it was true. My competency evaluation from Dr. Sarah Brennan was clear, fully functional, mild anxiety disorder, well managed with medication. But Derek didn't share that report with anyone. They controlled my mail, my phone calls, even my veteran benefit statements. We handle Dad's finances now, Derek would tell people. He gets confused with numbers. Confused? I'd been balancing books since before he was born. The worst part was watching them spend my money. Derek's BMW lease, $720 monthly. Vanessa's shopping trips, designer purses, expensive dinners, all charged to the account they managed for me. It's our money too, Vanessa reminded me when I questioned a $1,500 charge at Nordstrom. We're taking care of you. Taking care of meant I drove a 15-year-old Honda Civic while they flashed around in luxury vehicles. It meant I clipped coupons while they ordered DoorDash every night. But here's what they didn't understand about Marines. We observe before we act. Every cruel comment went into my phone's voice memo app. Every financial abuse carefully documented. Every piece of mail they lost, I'd already photographed. My old unit taught me patience. 3 tours in Vietnam taught me strategy. And my VFW brothers taught me that some battles are worth fighting, no matter how old you get. Derek thought my shaking hands meant weakness. He thought my quiet acceptance meant defeat. He was about to learn the difference between retreat and tactical positioning. But first, I had to let him think he'd already won. Because the bigger they feel, the harder they fall. And Derek was about to fall from a very great height. By January 2024, I understood exactly what I was facing. This wasn't just about a house anymore. This was about everything I'd worked for, everything I'd sacrificed, and everything I had left to lose. The financial stakes were brutal. My house, bought with blood money from 3 Purple Hearts, was worth $285,000. Derek had already contacted 3 mortgage companies about refinancing. I found the applications in his email when he left his laptop open. But the house was just the beginning. My military contractor pension with Lockheed Martin, earned over 25 years maintaining aircraft, had accumulated to $1.3 million. Derek and Vanessa thought I was living on Social Security and food stamps. They had no idea about the locked account. If they succeeded in declaring me incompetent, they'd control everything. The house, the pension, even my Purple Heart disability payments of $1,250 monthly. I'd end up in some state-run nursing home while they lived like royalty on my dime. The social stakes cut deeper. Fayetteville is a military town. Everyone knows everyone. If word spread that I was mentally incompetent, that I couldn't manage my own affairs, my reputation in the veteran community would be destroyed. My VFW post, where I'd been a founding member since 1972, would see me as a liability. The Marine Brotherhood that had sustained me through Grace's death would distance themselves. Nobody wants to associate with the crazy old guy who lost his mind. Derek was already planting those seeds. At the grocery store, he'd stage conversations loud enough for others to hear. "Dad, you already bought milk yesterday. Remember? We talked about this." I never bought milk the day before, but strangers didn't know that. At church, he'd guide me by the elbow like I was feeble. "Careful, Pop, watch your step." Making sure everyone saw him caring for his declining father. The emotional stakes were the worst part. Grace and I had built this life together. Every piece of furniture told a story. The kitchen table where we paid bills for 30 years. The bedroom where she died, holding my hand. If I lost the house, I lost Grace's memory. I lost our life together. And I'd die knowing my only son, the boy I'd worked 3 jobs to put through college, saw me as nothing more than an obstacle to his inheritance. But Marines don't surrender, even when the odds look impossible. I started doing reconnaissance, real estate records at the county courthouse, military pension regulations, elder abuse statutes. I had a law degree from the University of Hard Knocks and 40 years of dealing with military bureaucracy. The math was simple. Derek needed me declared incompetent to steal my assets. But competency requires medical evidence, and my VA medical records were spotless. Dr. Sarah Brennan had been treating my PTSD for 15 years. Every evaluation showed the same result: mild anxiety disorder, well controlled with medication, fully functional mentally. Derek was building his case on lies, and lies have a way of collapsing when exposed to sunlight. I also discovered something interesting about property law in North Carolina. Any deed transfer over $50,000 requires 2 independent witnesses and notarization by a licensed professional. The document Derek was preparing had 1 witness, his wife, and a notary stamp that looked suspiciously fresh. My old friend Bobby Chen, retired colonel and current VFW commander, happened to be a notary public. He'd been stamping documents for 20 years. One look at Derek's paperwork, and he'd spot the forgery immediately. But I needed Derek to make his move first. In military terms, I needed him to commit his forces before I revealed my own strength. The stakes were clear. Everything I'd built, everything I'd earned, everything Grace and I had created together. Against that, Derek had arrogance, greed, and a fundamental misunderstanding of who he was dealing with. He thought PTSD made me weak. He thought age made me stupid. He thought 30 years of military service was just playing soldier. He was about to get an education in what Marines do to people who threaten their own. But first, I had to let him spring his trap. Because sometimes the best defense is letting your enemy think they've already won. The house was worth $285,000. My pension was worth $1.3 million. My dignity was priceless. And Derek was about to learn that some things are worth fighting for, no matter what it costs. The boy thought he was playing checkers. But this old Marine was playing chess, and I was already 3 moves ahead. The first real battle happened on a Tuesday morning in February. I was taking my medication, my daily routine with the sertraline and prazosin, when Derek cornered me in the kitchen. "We need to talk, Dad." Vanessa stood behind him, arms crossed, iPhone ready. "Always ready." "About what, son?" "About your situation." I sat down my pill organizer. Grace had bought it for me in 2019. Blue plastic with day-of-the-week compartments. Derek stared at it like it was evidence. "What situation?" "You're getting worse." "I feel fine." "Yesterday you asked me 3 times when dinner was." That was a lie. I'd asked once at 4 o'clock because Vanessa usually cooked at 5, but it was already 6:30. "I don't remember that." "See, that's exactly what I'm talking about." Derek sat across from me. His voice shifted into that patronizing tone he used with his clients at the insurance office. "Dad, Vanessa and I have been discussing your care." "I don't need care." "You need structure, support, professional help." "I see Dr. Brennan every month." "Dr. Brennan doesn't live here. She doesn't see the daily decline." Daily decline. Like I was some broken appliance winding down. "What decline?" Vanessa stepped forward, phone positioned perfectly. "Yesterday you put the milk in the cabinet." Another lie. I never touched their milk. I drank black coffee and water. "I don't think so." "Dad, we're trying to help you." "Help me what?" "Accept reality." The word reality hit different coming from Derek. Like he owned it. Like his version was the only version that mattered. "My reality seems fine." "Does it? When's the last time you balanced a checkbook?" "You handle my finances now." "Because you asked us to." "Because you insisted." "Because you were making mistakes." We stared at each other across Grace's kitchen table. 30 years of shared meals, birthday cakes, Christmas mornings, all of it dissolving into this moment. "What mistakes?" "The electric bill. You paid it twice." I'd paid it once, on time, online, like I'd been doing for 5 years. But arguing would only give him more ammunition. "I see." "Do you? Do you really see what's happening here?" His voice was rising, getting that edge it got when he talked to Vanessa about money, when he thought I couldn't hear. "Tell me." "You're losing it, Dad. Your mind, your independence, everything." Everything. Such a big word for such a small man. "And we need to make some decisions." "What kind of decisions?" Vanessa answered. "About your living situation." "I live here." "You live in our house." "Our house? Not my house? Not the house I'd bought with disability money earned in a Vietnamese rice paddy? Is that what this is about?" Derek leaned forward. "This is about taking care of family." "Whose family?" "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing, son." "No. Say what you mean." I could have said many things. About the BMW payments charged to my account. About the Nordstrom bills. About the mortgage applications I'd found. Instead, I said, "I appreciate everything you do." "Do you?" "Of course. Because sometimes it feels like you're fighting us." "I'm not fighting anyone." "Good. Because we've scheduled a meeting." "What kind of meeting?" "With a lawyer." The room went quiet. Vanessa's phone was definitely recording now. "What lawyer?" "Someone who specializes in family situations." Family situations. Like I was a situation to be managed. What kind of family situations? Competency issues. There it was. The word they'd been dancing around for months. Competency. Just a consultation, Dad. Nothing formal yet. Yet? Derek flinched. What? Nothing formal yet. Dad, We're not the enemy here. Enemy. Interesting choice of words from someone who'd been stealing my money for 3 years. I know. Do you? Because your attitude lately. What about my attitude? You're paranoid, suspicious, asking questions about every little thing. Every little thing. Like my own financial statements. Like my own mail. Like my own house. I just want to understand. Understand what? Where my money goes. Vanessa stepped closer. Your money goes to taking care of you. All of it. What's that supposed to mean? $720 for a BMW lease. Derek's face went red. That's for your transportation. I have a car. A 15-year-old Honda. It runs fine. Dad, you deserve better. Better. From the son who made me eat leftovers on paper plates. I'm comfortable. Are you? Are you really comfortable watching your son struggle to pay bills while you hoard money? Hoard money. Like saving for my funeral was selfishness. I'm not hoarding anything. Then trust us to manage it properly. I do trust you. Then sign the papers. What papers? The ones making us your legal guardians. Legal guardians. Like I was a child. I'll think about it. Think fast, Dad, because ready or not, this train is leaving the station. Derek stood up. Vanessa pocketed her phone. Meetings Thursday at 2. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. They left me sitting at Grace's table, staring at my pill organizer. But I wasn't thinking about medication anymore. I was thinking about the voice recorder in my shirt pocket that had captured every word. And about how Marines always let the enemy reveal their position before returning fire. Thursday at 2. Perfect. That gave me exactly 48 hours to prepare my counterstrike. That night, after Derek and Vanessa went to bed, I sat in my small basement room and opened the lockbox I'd kept hidden under my mattress for 3 years. Grace had given me this box for our 40th wedding anniversary. Fireproof steel, combination lock, big enough for important documents. She'd laughed when I called it my war chest. What war, Marcus? The war's over. If only she could see me now. Inside the box were documents Derek had never seen, would never think to look for, because in his mind his broken old father couldn't organize a grocery list, much less maintain financial records. First document, my Lockheed Martin pension statements. 25 years of contributions, employer matching, compound interest. Current value, $1,374,412. Derek thought I was living on $1,250 monthly from VA disability. He had no idea about the Lockheed account that deposited $4,200 every month into a separate bank in downtown Fayetteville. Second document, the original deed to this house. Purchased May 15, 1987 with cash from my disability settlement. No mortgage, no liens, free and clear ownership in my name only. Grace had insisted we keep the original in our safety deposit box, but I'd moved it after she died. Call it Marine intuition. Third document, my VA medical evaluations. Dr. Sarah Brennan, staff psychiatrist at Womack Army Medical Center. 15 years of quarterly assessments. Every single report concluded the same thing. Patient exhibits mild anxiety disorder related to combat trauma. Symptoms well controlled with medication. No evidence of cognitive decline or diminished capacity. Derek was building his incompetency case on lies. These documents proved it. Fourth document, power of attorney forms. Blank ones. The real ones from a legitimate law firm, requiring 2 independent witnesses and notarization by a licensed professional. I'd compared them to the documents Derek wanted me to sign. His paperwork was missing half the required language and used a notary stamp that looked fresh from Office Max. But the most important item in the box wasn't paper. It was a small digital recorder I'd bought at Radio Shack in 2023. Voice-activated, 60-hour storage capacity, built-in USB charging. For 3 months, I'd been documenting every conversation, every cruel comment, every financial decision made without my input. 47 minutes of recorded evidence. Derek calling me crazy. Vanessa filming my PTSD episodes. both of them discussing my money like it was already theirs. Once we get conservatorship, we can access his VA benefits. The house alone will pay off our credit cards. Think he'll last long in a nursing home? All of it preserved in digital clarity. The last item was a business card. Colonel Robert Chen, retired, VFW Post 1952 Commander, licensed notary public, licensed attorney. And my friend for 32 years. Bobby had served in Desert Storm after I came home from Vietnam. Different war, same brotherhood. He knew what real PTSD looked like. He knew what real incompetency looked like. And he knew what real legal documents looked like. I'd called Bobby the day before, after Derek mentioned the Thursday meeting. Marcus, you need representation. Maybe. Can't say too much on the phone. Understood. You want me to review some paperwork? That would help. Bring everything Thursday morning before your meeting. Bobby didn't ask questions. Marines don't need explanations when a brother needs help. I closed the lockbox and slid it back under my mattress. Tomorrow, I'd start making copies of everything. Thursday morning, I'd show Bobby the evidence. Thursday afternoon, I'd walk into that meeting prepared for war. Derek thought he was fighting a confused old man with shaky hands and a head full of nightmares. He was actually fighting a Marine with 40 years of military training, 60 hours of recorded evidence, and $1.3 million in resources. But I'd let him discover that the hard way. Because sometimes the best strategy is letting your enemy think they've already won, until it's time to show them they never even started fighting. Saturday afternoon, February 24th. The Parkers were throwing their annual neighborhood barbecue. 20-plus families gathering in their backyard for burgers, beer, and small-town socializing. Derek insisted we attend. Good for Dad to get out, he announced to everyone. He doesn't socialize much anymore. I knew better. This was performance. Derek playing the devoted son managing his declining father in front of witnesses. The Parkers' backyard was packed. Kids running around the playset. Adults clustered around picnic tables. The smell of charcoal and lighter fluid triggering memories I'd rather forget. I stayed close to the fence, away from the crowd. PTSD Management 101, control your environment. Marcus. Jake Morrison approached, beer in hand. Staff Sergeant, current active duty, stationed at Bragg. Mid-30s, 2 deployments in Afghanistan. He'd moved in 3 houses down last year. Hey Jake. How you holding up? Can't complain. How's retirement treating you? Before I could answer, Derek appeared, that protective smile he wore in public. Dad gets tired easily these days. Don't we, Pop? I wasn't tired, but correcting him would only prove his point. We all get older, Jake said diplomatically. Some more than others, Vanessa added, joining our circle, iPhone already in her hand. Dad had an episode yesterday, Derek announced to the group. Couldn't remember where he put his medication. Another lie. I'd found my pills exactly where I'd left them, in the kitchen cabinet where I'd kept them for 3 years. PTSD can affect memory, someone said sympathetically. It's getting worse, Derek continued. Sometimes he doesn't recognize people. I recognized everyone perfectly, but arguing would only make me look defensive. That's tough, Jake said, watching me carefully. The worst part is the anger, Vanessa added. He gets violent when he's confused. Violent? I hadn't raised my voice in anger since 1987. Really? Jake's expression shifted. Marines know Marines. He was reading the situation. Last week he threw a plate, Derek said, right through the kitchen window. I'd never thrown anything. The only broken window was from Derek's golf ball when he'd been practicing his swing in the backyard. Sounds scary, someone murmured. We're managing it, Derek said nobly. Family takes care of family. What does his doctor say? Jake asked. Dr. Brennan thinks he needs more structured care, Vanessa answered quickly. Dr. Brennan had never said anything like that, but the crowd didn't know Dr. Brennan. Nursing home? Someone asked. We're exploring options, Derek said. It's hard, but we have to think about safety. Safety. Like I was a loaded weapon that might go off. Dad gets confused about money too, Derek continued. Yesterday he accused us of stealing from him. The crowd shifted uncomfortably. Nothing makes people more nervous than family drama. That must be difficult, Mrs. Parker said. Heartbreaking, Vanessa agreed. When your own father thinks you're the enemy. Enemy. That word again. I stood quietly, letting them build their case. Every lie documented in the voice recorder hidden in my shirt pocket. How long has he been living with you? Jake asked. 3 years, Derek said. Since Mom died. He couldn't manage on his own. Couldn't manage meant owned a house worth more than Derek made in 5 years. That's generous of you, someone said. It's what family does, Derek replied humbly. Even when it's thankless, Vanessa added. Thankless. From the woman who charged $1,500 in shopping to my credit card last month. Sometimes he wanders at night, Derek continued. We had to put locks on the doors. I'd never wandered anywhere. The locks were to keep me from accessing my own mail. Have you considered medication adjustment? Jake asked. His doctors are working on it, Vanessa said. But honestly, I think the damage is permanent. Permanent damage. Like I was beyond repair. The crowd was eating it up. Poor Derek and Vanessa, sacrificing their lives for a crazy old veteran who didn't appreciate their kindness. The hardest part is when he gets aggressive, Derek said, voice dropping to a stage whisper. Last week he threatened to call the police on us. I had threatened to call the police after finding another unauthorized charge on my account. Paranoid delusions, Vanessa added sadly. He thinks everyone's out to get him. Everyone wasn't out to get me. Just the 2 people who were supposed to love me most. Well, Mrs. Parker said awkwardly, you're doing a wonderful job under difficult circumstances. Thank you, Derek said. It helps to have community support. Community support for Derek, while his father stood 3 feet away being discussed like he was already dead. That's when Jake Morrison did something unexpected. He stepped closer to me. Marine to Marine. Marcus, you doing okay? The first person all afternoon to ask me directly. I'm fine, Jake. You sure? You need anything? The crowd went quiet, waiting to see if the crazy old man would have an episode. Just enjoying the barbecue. Good. Jake nodded. You know where I live if you need anything. I appreciate that. Derek jumped back in. Dad doesn't like to bother people. No bother, Jake said firmly. Marines look out for each other. Marines look out for each other. The first words all day that felt real. Well, Derek said, uncomfortable with Jake's attention on me, we should probably get Dad home. He gets agitated when he's out too long. I wasn't agitated, but protesting would only prove their point. Marcus, Jake said as we turned to leave, my door's always open. Thank you. Walking home, Derek was practically glowing. That went well, he told Vanessa. Did you see how everyone reacted? Perfect, she agreed. Especially when you mentioned the violence. Violence I'd never committed. Recorded in perfect digital clarity. That night I called Bobby Chen. How was your barbecue? Educational. Ready for Thursday? More than ready. Good. Because from what you've told me, this is war. War. Finally, someone who understood what we were really fighting. Derek thought public humiliation would break me. Instead, he'd just given me 20 witnesses to his lies. And Marines never forget who stands with them when the shooting starts. Thursday morning arrived grey and cold. I was awake at 0500 hours, like every morning for 50 years. Military habits die hard. At 0800, I walked to VFW Post 1952. 6 blocks from the house. Past the coffee shop where Derek bought his expensive lattes. Past the bank where my pension accumulated in secret. Bobby Chen was waiting in his office, wearing his dress blues. 32 years younger than me, but the uniform commanded the same respect I'd earned in Vietnam. Marcus, you look like hell. Feel worse. I handed him the lockbox. He opened it carefully, studying each document with a lawyer's eyes. Your pension's worth how much? 1.3 million. And they think you're broke. Living on disability checks. Bobby read through the VA medical evaluations. Sarah Brennan is thorough. These reports are bulletproof. Derek claims I'm incompetent. Based on what? I played him 47 minutes of recorded conversations. Bobby's face darkened with each lie, each cruel comment, each discussion of my money like I was already dead. This is elder abuse, Marcus. Financial and emotional. Can you prove it with this evidence? Absolutely. He examined the fake deed papers Derek wanted me to sign. Forgery. Bad forgery. Notary stamp from Office Max, wrong legal language, missing required witnesses. So what's my move? Bobby leaned back in his chair. That depends. You want to destroy them quietly or publicly? What's the difference? Quietly means criminal charges, lawsuits, legal proceedings. Takes months. Very effective, very private. And publicly? Publicly means we embarrass them in front of the entire community. Faster, more dramatic, but permanent social damage. I thought about Saturday's barbecue. Derek performing his devoted son act while painting me as a violent lunatic. Publicly. You sure? There's no walking this back. I'm sure. Bobby smiled. Good. Because I've got an idea. He pulled out a file folder marked Memorial Day Committee. Every year we select a Grand Marshal for the Memorial Day Parade. Local veteran, decorated service, community respect. Okay. This year's committee meets Sunday morning. We're looking for someone special. Someone with multiple Purple Hearts. My chest tightened. Bobby. Marcus, you earned 3 Purple Hearts in Vietnam. Bronze Star, Combat Infantry Badge. You're exactly what we're looking for. I don't do parades anymore. Why not? Crowds. Noise. PTSD. Doc Brennan cleared you as fully functional. Your medical records prove it. He was right. But 30 years of avoiding crowds doesn't disappear overnight. What about Derek? What about him? He'll be furious. Good. Let him be furious in front of 800 people. 800 people. The annual Memorial Day parade drew the entire town. I need to think about it. No thinking. Yes or no? Bobby understood Marines. Sometimes you need orders, not options. Yes. Excellent. Committee meets Sunday at 1000 hours. I'll nominate you. Motion will pass unanimously. How do you know? Because I'm the chairman. Sunday morning, I walked to the VFW at 0945. 5 committee members sat around the conference table. Bobby plus 4 other veterans spanning Korea through Iraq. Gentlemen, Bobby announced, we need a Grand Marshal. Any suggestions? Marcus Holloway, said Frank Carlson, Vietnam Navy veteran. Silence. Marcus Holloway, asked George Winters, Korean War Army. Haven't seen him around much lately. Family issues, Bobby explained diplomatically. But his record speaks for itself. He read my service summary aloud. 3 tours, Vietnam. 1st Marine Division. 3 Purple Hearts. Bronze Star. Combat Infantry Badge. Presidential Unit Citation. Jesus, whispered Stephen Brooks, Gulf War Air Force. This guy's a legend. Any objections? Silence. Motion carries. Marcus Holloway, Grand Marshal, Memorial Day 2024. Bobby called me that afternoon. It's official. You're our Grand Marshal. Now what? Now we announce it. Local paper, social media, community bulletin board. Derek will see it. That's the point. The announcement appeared in Tuesday's Fayetteville Observer. Vietnam veteran selected as Memorial Day Grand Marshal. VFW Post 1952 proudly announces Marcus Holloway, 74, as Grand Marshal for Monday's Memorial Day Parade. Holloway, a decorated Marine veteran, served 3 tours in Vietnam and earned 3 Purple Hearts, Bronze Star, and Combat Infantry Badge. The parade begins 11 a.m. at City Hall. Derek saw it Tuesday evening. I was in the kitchen when he burst through the front door. Dad, did you see this? He held up the newspaper, hands shaking. See what? This article. About you being Grand Marshal. Oh, that. Oh, that. This is huge. It's just a parade, son. Just a parade? Dad, this is an honor. Why didn't you tell us? Because you think I'm incompetent, I thought. Because you've spent 3 years painting me as a crazy old man. Didn't seem important. Not important? Dad, the whole town will be watching. The whole town. Including everyone from Saturday's barbecue who'd heard Derek describe my violent episodes and paranoid delusions. I suppose. We need to prepare. Get you a new suit. Practice your wave. Practice my wave. Like I was a trained SEAL. I'll manage. Dad, this is your moment to shine. My moment to shine. While Derek took credit for supporting his veteran father. But that's exactly what I was counting on. Monday morning, Derek would escort his honored father to the parade. He'd wave to the crowd, accepting their admiration for being such a devoted son. And then I'd show everyone who Marcus Holloway really was. Not the broken old man Derek described at barbecues, but a decorated Marine with 47 minutes of recorded evidence and 1.3 million reasons to fight back. The parade was 5 days away. Time to lock and load. Memorial Day morning, 0800 hours. Dress blue uniform pressed and ready. Medals positioned according to regulation. 3 Purple Hearts, Bronze Star, Combat Infantry Badge, gleaming in the sunlight. I hadn't worn these decorations in 15 years. The weight felt familiar. Derek circled me like a photographer, adjusting my collar, straightening my ribbons. Dad, you look incredible. Like a real Marine. Like a real Marine, as opposed to the fake Marine I'd been pretending to be for 50 years. Thank you, son. The whole neighborhood's going to see this. Mrs. Parker, the Morrison family, everyone from Saturday's barbecue. Everyone who'd heard him describe my violent episodes and paranoid delusions. I hope I don't disappoint them. Disappoint them? Dad, you're a hero. Hero. Interesting how that word changed when there were cameras around. We drove to City Hall in Derek's BMW. He detailed it for the occasion, wanting to look good for the neighbors. Remember to wave, he coached. Smile. Make eye contact. Show them the medals. Show them the medals he'd called old junk for 3 years. The parade staging area buzzed with activity. High school marching band tuning instruments. Boy Scout troops organizing flags. Local politicians practicing their politician smiles. Bobby Chen approached in full dress uniform, Colonel's Eagles catching the morning light. Marcus, ready for this? Ready. Good. You'll be riding in the lead convertible. I'll introduce you at the reviewing stand. Derek stepped forward, extending his hand. Colonel Chen, I'm Derek Holloway, Marcus's son. Bobby shook his hand politely. Nice to meet you. Thank you for this honor. Dad's been so excited. Dad's been so excited. Like I was a child anticipating Christmas. Your father earned this honor 50 years ago, Bobby said coolly. We're just recognizing it properly. The parade marshal handed me a small American flag and helped me into the lead convertible. Red Mustang, top down, perfect for visibility. Derek and Vanessa positioned themselves at the reviewing stand, front row, where everyone could see the devoted family supporting their veteran father. 1,100 hours. The parade began. We rolled down Hay Street at parade speed, past hundreds of spectators lining the sidewalks. Children waving flags. Veterans saluting. Families cheering. I waved mechanically, focusing on the reviewing stand ahead where Derek waited with his camera ready. The convertible stopped at the microphone. Bobby stepped forward. Ladies and gentlemen, our Grand Marshal, Marine veteran Marcus Holloway. Polite applause. Bobby continued. Marcus served 3 tours in Vietnam with the 1st Marine Division. Wounded 3 times. Decorated for valor. 25 years with military contractors after his service. The crowd's attention focused. This wasn't just ceremonial anymore. Marcus earned 3 Purple Hearts, Bronze Star, Combat Infantry Badge, and Presidential Unit Citation. He represents the best of our military tradition. Louder applause. People were standing now. Bobby handed me the microphone. Marcus, would you like to say something? This was the moment. 800 people watching. Derek beaming proudly. Vanessa filming everything. I stood slowly, medals reflecting the sunlight. Thank you for this honor. My voice carried across the crowd, steady and clear. For 3 years, some people have told you I'm a broken old man. Confused. Violent. Incompetent. Derek's smile faltered. I could see him in my peripheral vision, confusion replacing pride. They've said I have episodes. That I throw things. That I don't recognize people. The crowd grew quiet. This wasn't a typical Memorial Day speech. They've said I'm paranoid. That I accuse my own family of stealing from me. Derek was shaking his head now, trying to signal me to stop. Vanessa had lowered her phone. Today, I want you to know the truth. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a manila envelope. For 3 years, my son Derek and his wife Vanessa have been systematically stealing my money, forging documents, and planning to have me declared incompetent so they can steal my house. Gasps from the crowd. Derek stood up, face red. Dad, you're confused. I'm not confused, son. I'm a Marine. I opened the envelope, pulling out documents. This is my Lockheed Martin pension statement. $1,300,000. Money Derek doesn't know exists. The crowd murmured. Someone shouted, "Holy!" This is my VA medical evaluation from Dr. Sarah Brennan. Quote, no evidence of cognitive decline or diminished capacity. End quote. Derek was pushing through the crowd now, trying to reach the platform. And this, I held up the digital recorder, contains 47 minutes of recorded conversations where my son calls me crazy, discusses my money like I'm already dead, and plans to put me in a nursing home while he lives in my house. The crowd erupted. Voices calling out. Shame. Disgusting. Derek reached the platform. Dad, please stop. You're having an episode. I'm not having an episode, Derek. I'm having a reckoning. Bobby stepped forward with a leather folder. I'm Colonel Robert Chen, VFW Commander and licensed attorney. I've reviewed Marcus's evidence. What you've heard today constitutes elder abuse, financial fraud, and forgery. He handed me a document. This is a restraining order, effective immediately, prohibiting Derek and Vanessa Holloway from entering Marcus's property or accessing his financial accounts. I handed the papers to Derek. You're served. The crowd was on its feet now. Some cheering, some booing Derek and Vanessa. Phones recording everything. Jake Morrison pushed forward, Staff Sergeant's voice cutting through the noise. Is there anything you need, Marcus? Transport home would be appreciated. Roger that. Derek was backing away, papers crumpled in his fist. Dad, we can work this out. Family meeting. Just us. No more family meetings, son. From now on, all communication goes through Colonel Chen. But Dad. That's Mr. Holloway to you. The crowd parted as Jake and 2 other Marines formed up around me. On a guard for the walk to Jake's truck. Behind us, Derek and Vanessa stood alone on the platform, 800 people staring at them with disgust and disappointment. As we drove away, I could hear the crowd still buzzing with outrage. By evening, the story would be all over Fayetteville. By tomorrow, everyone would know what Derek and Vanessa had tried to do. Where to, Marcus? Home. My home. For the first time in 3 years, that word felt real again. Tuesday morning brought consequences. Derek and Vanessa were gone by 0600. Moving truck loaded with their belongings. Neighbors watched from windows as they drove away in shame, unable to meet anyone's eyes. By noon, the restraining order was in full effect. Sheriff's deputy delivered official notice. Derek Holloway and Vanessa Holloway were prohibited from entering 847 Pine Street or contacting Marcus Holloway directly. The financial reckoning moved faster. Wells Fargo called at 1,400 hours. The account Derek had been managing showed unauthorized charges totaling $47,000 over 3 years. BMW payments, Nordstrom shopping, restaurant bills, even a vacation to Myrtle Beach I'd never taken. Mr. Holloway, we're reversing all unauthorized charges and freezing the account. We're also filing a fraud report with the FBI. FBI. Derek's insurance license required a clean criminal record. One fraud conviction and his career was finished. Wednesday brought social consequences. Mrs. Parker knocked on my door with a casserole and an apology. Marcus, I'm so sorry. We had no idea what Derek was doing to you. Thank you, Wilton. The whole neighborhood feels terrible. We should have seen the signs. No one expects family to lie. Still, if you need anything, groceries, rides to appointments, just ask. By Thursday, the story had reached the Fayetteville Observer. Front page article, Local Veteran Exposes Family Fraud at Memorial Day Parade. The reporter had interviewed parade spectators. I always thought something was odd about how that son treated his father, said witness Helen Carter. Now we know why. Disgusting behavior, added veteran Richard Foster. Marines don't abandon Marines. Family shouldn't abandon family. Friday brought legal consequences. Colonel Chen called with updates. District Attorney's Office is filing charges. Elder abuse, financial fraud, forgery, conspiracy. Derek and Vanessa are looking at 2 to 5 years each. What about restitution? Full recovery of stolen funds plus damages. They'll pay back every penny. And the house? Yours. Free and clear. The fake deed was never filed, so there are no legal complications. Derek had been too confident, too eager. He'd planned to file the forged paperwork after having me declared incompetent. His greed had made him sloppy. Saturday brought the most satisfying consequence. Jake Morrison stopped by with news from his wife, who worked at the insurance office. Derek was terminated yesterday. Company policy, no employees with pending fraud charges. What about their BMW? Repossessed Wednesday. Turns out they were 3 months behind on payments. Derek had been stealing my money to maintain a lifestyle he couldn't afford. Now he'd lost everything. Job, car, house, reputation. Where are they living? Vanessa's mother's place. 2-bedroom apartment across town. From my $285,000 house to Vanessa's mother's apartment. The reversal was complete. Sunday brought unexpected consequences. The VFW post was packed for the weekly meeting. Word had spread through the veteran community. Marcus, Commander Chen announced, the post voted unanimously. We're establishing the Marcus Holloway Elder Advocacy Fund to help other veterans facing family abuse. Applause filled the room. Marines, soldiers, sailors, airmen, all understanding that betrayal by family cuts deeper than any enemy fire. Thank you. Grace would have liked that. Monday brought the final consequence. My phone rang at 1030 hours. Unknown number. Dad. Derek's voice, small and defeated. This is Mr. Holloway. Dad, please. Can we talk? All communication goes through Colonel Chen. I know, but, I'm sorry. We made mistakes. Mistakes. Like stealing $47,000 was an accounting error. Yes, you did. Can you forgive us? Forgiveness. The one thing he'd never earned through blood in a Vietnamese rice paddy. Derek, for 3 years you called me crazy. You mocked my Purple Hearts. You filmed my PTSD episodes. You stole my money and planned to steal my house. Silence. You told neighbors I was violent and paranoid. You were going to put me in a nursing home and forget I existed. Dad. You made one critical error, son. What? You forgot I'm a Marine. And Marines never surrender. I hung up. That afternoon, I walked through my house. My house. For the first time in 3 years without feeling like a guest. Grace's furniture in its proper place. My medications in the kitchen cabinet where they belonged. My mail delivered to my mailbox. The lockbox sat open on the kitchen table, no longer hidden. Inside, $1.3 million in pension funds, free and clear deed to my house, and a digital recorder that had changed everything. But the most important item wasn't in the box anymore. It was hanging in the living room. 3 Purple Hearts, Bronze Star, and Combat Infantry Badge. Grace had framed them before she died. For the man who earned them, she'd written on the back. I'd earned them in Vietnam 50 years ago. But I'd proven them again on Memorial Day 2024. I was sitting on my front porch at 0600, coffee in hand, watching the sunrise over my neighborhood. My neighborhood. My house. My life. The legal proceedings were almost finished. Derek and Vanessa had accepted plea deals. 2 years probation, full restitution, community service at the VA hospital. They'd learn what real veterans looked like. Bobby Chen stopped by twice a week. More friend than attorney now. We'd drink coffee and talk about everything except family drama. Jake Morrison became my closest neighbor. His kids called me Grandpa Marcus and asked to see my medals. I told them stories about courage and loyalty, lessons Derek had never learned. The Marcus Holloway Elder Advocacy Fund had helped 12 veterans in 3 months. Men and women facing the same betrayal I'd endured. We gave them resources, legal support, and most importantly, the knowledge they weren't alone. Dr. Brennan adjusted my medication. The PTSD symptoms had improved dramatically once the source of my real stress was removed. Turns out being gaslit by your own family is worse for mental health than combat memories. Derek called twice more. Both times I referred him to Bobby. He'd forfeited the right to speak directly to his father when he chose greed over love. My Lockheed pension was now managed by a financial advisor Bobby recommended. The money would support veterans' causes after I'm gone. A better legacy than anything Derek could have provided. I'd started dating again. Claire Donovan, widow of a Navy veteran, understood military families. We took things slowly, like people our age should. The most important change was simple. I stopped apologizing for existing. No more eating dinner scraps. No more hiding my achievements. No more pretending PTSD made me weak instead of proving I'd survived hell and kept going. This morning, my phone buzzed with a text message. Happy birthday, Grandpa Marcus. Can we see your medals today? Jake's daughter, Lily. I'd forgotten it was my birthday. 75 years old. Of course, sweetheart. Come over after school. Tonight, the Morrison family would join Claire and me for birthday dinner. Real family. Chosen family. People who understood that respect is earned, not demanded. If you're reading this story, remember, it's never too late to set boundaries. It's never too late to fight back. And it's never too late to reclaim your dignity. Sometimes the people who hurt you most are the ones who should protect you most. But Marines protect each other. And that makes all the difference.